straight from the realm of all things gaming. Everything Noob starts now.
And welcome to episode 101 of the Everything Noob podcast. I'm Vortak, and you'll find me on the YouTube sometimes. And we are joined this evening by Mr. Special Guest, Weem himself. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And, of course, Mr. Drew.
Absolutely. I'm here, not just in the intro voice this time.
Yay! Dreadlow.
And I'm here. And I'm doing videos finally again.
And Jimmy.
I've heavily thought about doing videos again.
You're just enjoying gaming.
Yeah.
I'm also on YouTube occasionally.
I can't even say occasionally anymore.
Shameless plug. Yeah.
Well,
In any case.
see, that's the thing about Jemmy, though. She's playing games and she's enjoying herself, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. The theme of tonight's show, as we have every week, we have a theme, and that is gaming on YouTube. And since we're all people who do or have gamed on YouTube before, this topic is fitting for all the people. But, you know, Jemmy's just enjoying games, and a big problem I've had personally is that I can't seem to get enjoyment out of playing games sometimes because I feel really guilty for not recording them, and I'm kind of curious if anyone else has had that problem.
I was actually, I've had that problem too because I've been playing a lot of Minecraft lately, and because I was late on the bandwagon to Minecraft, and so I've been playing a lot lately, and then I just recently got on streaming on Twitch and everything. Drew the DJ, if you want to follow me on Twitch, and the Twitch integration into Minecraft is so seamless that you push one button and you're streaming. So I've gotten to the point where I'm like, well, if I'm gonna play, I may as well stream. But then it gets to the point where, oh well, I feel bad if I don't share, that I'm streaming, and not that I have a ton of followers that are super disappointed, but I'm like, well, I better share. I actually have like 13 Twitch followers, but anyway, I have 13, lucky 13. But I feel like, oh well, I've got to share the link on Google Plus and Facebook and Twitter, and then I've got to decide what I'm going to do, and I can't just derp around, and I've got to have a direction, I've got to have an objective, and then, well, screw it, I just don't want to play anymore. So, I mean, it's pretty minor, but I do have that feeling, and it doesn't always get the best of me. A lot of times I've gotten a lot of followers from just, you know what? Yeah, I'm not even going to share the link. I'm just going to start streaming because Minecraft is popular and people will watch it. And I usually, even without streaming, at least get 5 or 6 people watching. So sometimes it pays off when it's just easy to do. But I understand what you mean, where it's just like, man, you just feel like it's not fun anymore. You have this responsibility. It's like in high school English class. You always wanted to read Frankenstein, but now that they're making you write essays and analyze it, it's not fun anymore.
That's a good point.
So that's kind of what I equate it to.
I was actually curious to see what Weem had to say on the issue because you've been making videos like crazy. I don't even know where you find time to play games.
Yeah, I don't either. If somebody can find some more for me, that'd be awesome. It happens to me occasionally that I do that I'm gaming for fun, quote unquote, right? I mean, no matter what, I'm having fun when I'm recording too, but that's kind of how I say it, I'm just playing for fun. But yeah, sometimes, especially during a long play session, I think, oh man, I could be recording, but I kind of just strike that. I kind of need my time to just not really think about what I'm saying and or even sometimes what I'm doing. So I don't let it get to me too much. I need that break.
Yeah.
See, I know for me when I'm sitting down and I start a game. Like if it's a new game, if it's something I haven't played before, I'll start the game and see if I can actually record it. And I think that's a bad decision. I think what I need to do is just record everything I do and then, make it into a video. I mean, I feel like I try too hard to make it perfect. Like if I'm recording a video, and of course with some games, once you progress a certain distance in the game, you can't go back. You know what I mean? So you either have to start over or whatever, and then I don't know. I just find myself. I find it very hard for me to just do things on the fly. I want to try to plan things ahead of time and try to, I think I try too hard to make it interesting.
Yeah,
I just need to just do it.
I think you're thinking
know?
too much.
Yeah.
That's
Because
that's
I
pretty
don't
much.
want it to be. I don't want it to be boring to the people that are watching. So what I do is I try to make it as interesting as possible. But then if I feel like I made a mistake, I go, oh, I messed up, and I hit the stop button, and I go, let's start that over. You know, it's like I'm like in some kind of an inner studio trying to make it perfect. You know, and I don't think I think I need to stop doing that.
Actually, I think
That's my problem.
Yeah, I've just had a major breakthrough because I used to do the same thing when I was in radio and I was pre-recording radio shows. I'd be like, "Oh, I messed up. I got to start over." And eventually I got to the point where I just did it. You just do it because it makes you human. It makes people realize you're not perfect, and that makes people identify with you more. And so I don't know why it never occurred to me to translate that over to gaming, but that's amazing.
I've got to realize that there's an audience out there, and I need to speak to them. Like, if I do make a mistake in the video, I think I need to think like, oh, I kind of messed that up. If anybody in the comments can tell me if I'm doing what I need to be doing right here, that would be, and kind of interact with them. I think that would make it much easier when I do make a mistake. And unfortunately, when I'm in the middle of recording, it doesn't happen that way. I do it a lot. You know.
Yeah. A lot of people are guilty of that, myself included.
Yeah.
You know what I used to do? I actually had a sticky pad on my monitor that just said and that was it. Just sat there, and it kind of kept it in my mind. And but it helped a lot, and I think I've pretty much gotten rid of that for the most part. It comes up every once in a while, but not enough for me to even take notice of it. But what my thing is, I think you have to embrace the mistakes. There's channels that I watch, including non-Let's Play channels. There's a channel I watch called Rado Runs Through, and he goes through board games. He plays board games with a handheld camera, and he just does it in one long take, sometimes 40 minutes. And there's mistakes in there. He goes back on something he said, oh, never mind. But you're getting that person's personality, and that's what I'm there for. You know what I mean? I don't need perfection. I need you. I'm there because of your personality. So I think you have to embrace the mistakes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been cutting down my videos a lot, but I don't really cut out the ums or mistakes. I more or less just cut out parts that I know are just boring to watch. Like, especially with sandbox games, you're always mining or doing something like that. So if I'm going to do a whole bunch of that, I want people to know that I started to do that, and then I'm just going to bring you to when I finish doing that.
Right? Yeah,
well,
I do that too.
That's just like, on cooking shows on TV, that not all of them show you chopping all of the onions and peppers and manually.
They have the bowl of the pre-measured stuff. Go.
Right. And I was like, well, we put this in the oven and now we'll just wait 40 minutes. How's your day going?
Oh, and they put one in the oven earlier.
Yeah. Oh, and this is how it turns out. Yeah, it's the same thing, same concept.
Well, I mentioned this before. The guy that was recording the forest. I'll put his name out there. Partially Royal is his name, and he makes these forest videos, and they're just awesome to watch. And this one episode, he literally just cut down trees and dragged the logs over to where he was going to build. Kept getting trees. Pretty much the whole episode. That's all he did. But it was interesting to watch. I don't know why. It had to do with his personality, obviously, and the things that he talked about. But he filled it in with just content about whatever. Sometimes he even included some of his personal life. But he always had something to say. And, you usually think, well, if you talk too much, then, people would just think you talk too much and they don't want to listen to you. But he did that, and it interested me. And I watched the whole episode. So, I don't know. I just need to learn how to just do it. And not think too much.
Yeah,
turn the brain off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, when I first started streaming, that was a big hurdle for me as well, because I just kind of obviously when you first start streaming on Twitch, nobody's watching you, and so the way that I finally, because I just didn't know what to do. I'm just like, okay, I'm playing a game and nobody's watching me, and I've got a microphone in my face, and what am I supposed to do? And it got to the point where I just kind of went, well, I'm just going to talk to myself. I'm just gonna say what I'm thinking. About whatever game I'm playing, whether it's Minecraft or Duke Nukem or whatever. And that helped a lot, because at least, even if nobody watched, I still had content to export to YouTube and do highlights and stuff. And people appreciate that.
It's just like radio. No one's listening.
Right, exactly. No one listens to radio anymore. Case in point, I'm now unemployed. But
wow, depressing.
Harsh.
I got a good voice too, man. I thought I was just gonna ride that train all the way until my ship came in, but oh well.
I've made it dark.
So,
I apologize.
yeah, thanks a lot, bro.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, no, but I mean, but it's I learned a lot that have actually helped me in the digital world. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I would just talk to myself, and now there's been times where I go really off track in my videos, and if I feel like it's not even relevant, like if I'm just walking and trying to find something, but I decide I'll just talk, I'm like, I don't even need this part in the video. Cut it out.
Yeah.
And that's been cool, but like I said, I've been having trouble just having fun again because I'm always like, I gotta record this. I have to show everyone. And it's, the other night, like for example, Jemmy and myself and we all sat down and played Gauntlet. It was my girlfriend, her boyfriend, and the two of us all playing Gauntlet. And that was fun. Like we didn't record it, we didn't stream it. I think Jemmy had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun. I was
You hesitated.
No. Okay. So like an hour or two before we started playing, I had what is like a cluster headache. And I was like coming off of that. So it's like, yeah, there's that. But the gaming was fun.
I had fun throwing things at you and trying to make them explode.
Yeah, I know. This is any game where there's explodables. If I can pick it up and you're looking, you're going to blow it up in my hands.
That's what was so cool about the chemistry between you two when you guys made the hopeless duo. Is that Dan would always pick on you, and you would just like the way you took it was perfect. It was just comical. It was awesome. But yeah, I mean,
no need to get mad. It's just a game.
I'm the reason she doesn't record videos anymore.
No, the reason I don't record so much is because a lot of times when I play games, I play with other people, and I play with people where like I get intimidated to ask them if I can record it.
Oh.
And so it's like, I just don't want to get them involved in what I do. So I just kind of like, okay, well, no, I won't do it. We'll just have fun.
Do you think online gamers are really that hesitant about having things recorded like that?
It depends on the group of people, but a lot of times I'm talking about like close friends.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want them to be drug into like the public light in case I screw up and become a pariah of some kind.
It's interesting. I actually find that as well with friends, actual, real life friends, friends that are near me that actually come over. For example, this last weekend I had 3 friends over. We all 4 of us played Creativerse, and didn't record any of that. But I find that when I do want to record when they're around, I'm kind of like, do you guys mind? Is that okay? Like, and I kind of expect some pushback. But in any other case, with people that I don't know, I'll say, hey, do you mind if I record this? And they're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. I want to be like, I find that people actually want to be in the video, and I've never had anybody say, no, I'd rather not. And that's something that I'm kind of cognizant of as well, is to make sure that they're cool with that, especially with a channel that's kind of growing. I didn't care so much in the beginning necessarily,
right.
But.
Right, exactly. But now that you're the Weem, there's a certain amount of pressure
Weem,
there.
The Weem.
The Weem.
Weem's pretty humble, though. Weem is the tits, really.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
It's the tits.
Right.
Yes.
We need a bigger soundboard.
We do.
Best thing I've ever recorded for this show.
No, it's awesome though, because I used to really enjoy going and like I had a YouTube channel with all kinds of people watching it as I played Minecraft, and Minecraft's really cool because it's easy to just jump in a server and start doing stuff. And you could, if you didn't have anyone to record with, it was so cool. You could just go on Twitter and be like, I'm gonna go on this server and play these games. Anyone feel like jumping in? And you'd get a few people that would be willing to, hang out and do that. But I've been playing less and less Minecraft now, more single player stuff, and I've switched gears completely. Now I'm like, can I just play a game without recording for a day? And I've just been doing that now. Now I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, take a break.
Take a break.
Right. I hate it when I get into a game and I start playing it, and then I go, and then I'm in the middle of the game and I realize this game went quite well. This would have been great as a recording, and I don't record. You know what I mean? I haven't started the recorder, so there's a lot of content there that would have been perfect for a video, and I completely missed it.
But you know what? I think that's a great opportunity. You know, there's times that's happened to me where I've played and said, oh, I could have been recording this. I'm having a great time. But that's the best time. You start over because you've experienced it. You're faster with it. You know what you're doing. That kind of stuff just is a lot more smooth the second time around. I've actually had, videos that I've done in the past that, I recorded and there was some kind of audio issue where I recorded for an hour and that's gone now. I can't really use it. And I actually...
For you.
Yeah, we had those kinds of situations, but what I found was I tried to look at the positive and said, you know what? It only means that the video is going to be better this time because I know exactly what I'm doing. I've kind of run through this. I'm going to present it better, and I know what I'm doing better. So I tried to look at it that way and say, hey, this is just going to be. It just means it's going to be a better video.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do recall like when I first play a game, and I don't know what I'm doing. That's when I seem to have the most fun, like learning about it, but it's also the most confusing time. It makes recording a video really difficult because you want to inform people how to play this game. They're thinking about maybe buying it, or they want to see like, ooh, what's this game all about? And they're watching someone who's just as confused as them. I mean, you could sell that really well, or it could, blow up in your face too. It just depends. I've seen it go both ways, honestly. But switching gears here for a second, there's something that Dreadlow you brought up, and you actually discovered it because of Weem here. Tell us about Legs of Steel.
Well, Legs of Steel is a guy from, where's he? I want to say like Norway or something like. Where is he from?
He's in the Netherlands.
And he has the specific kind of autism where if he goes out and say in a public place there's a lot of people, he gets really overwhelmed real easy. And his way to, I don't know, I feel like he can express himself a lot better. And this is what I really like about him. And he does YouTube videos where he plays video games and he does other things like cooking and all kinds of different things that he does to express himself via YouTube. And because of this, I think, I don't know, he's never really said this, but I think it's really helped him as a person be able to cope a little bit better with people, because now he got all excited about getting this bus card so that he can actually go and somebody made an app for him or app that allowed him to map, and because when he gets out in public, he can't remember, where to go. He gets so flustered with the environment around him that he can't remember anything. So this app kind of helps him along, and it's incredible because this guy is super talented in just the way he expresses himself, and he's very comical and just a lot of fun. And I think this it's not just him. I mean, I've seen people. There's a guy that doesn't have any arms, and he's able to play video games with just the stubs of his arms. And he records this, and this has helped him, be able to communicate with people. It gives more confidence, and I think it's just really awesome that I'm starting to see a lot of. I got a nephew that has multiple sclerosis, and I remember the first time I saw him extremely happy. Because he's always, come on, he's in a wheelchair. He's like in his 20s now. He can't talk or anything. He just kind of like wobbles. He can't do much. But the first time that we saw him super excited and happy was when we gave him a little keyboard. And he started playing music on the keyboard. I mean, he can't play music, but it did something to him. You know what I mean? It got him like out of himself, and he felt good. And this is the kind of thing that I think that YouTube has really helped. With people, and I hope that more people, that have disabilities like this, think about doing something like this, because it'll really help them, I think. And so I wanted to bring that up because I thought Legs of Steel was a great example, because he's really taken off, and he gets so upset when he doesn't do a video for a while. He gets really upset. He goes, "Hey guys, I just want to say I'm sorry. I didn't do a video," And everybody's in the comments going, "Oh, don't worry about it. Take your time, whatever, It's cool.
Yeah,
so anyway.
He's an awesome guy. I met him through the Let's Play subreddit. And he had actually just posted that somebody messed up his channel art, and I do graphic stuff, and doing channel art for people is something that I just do from time to time. They say, hey, I need something new, and if I look at it and have an idea, I'll just make something. So he had said, oh, somebody made a mistake in my banner, and I just looked at it and was like, oh, cool, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. And him and I got talking kind of that way. And one of the things that I really liked about him was that, he will tell you in his videos, I have a hard time saying what I want to say. He basically knows exactly what he wants to say. Absolutely no issue there. It's just there's almost like a filter that it doesn't quite come out right. And I can imagine that to be very frustrating. But the thing that I loved about him was that I spent a lot of time on the Let's Play subreddit, kind of giving advice to other, much smaller channels, people, 0 subscribers just starting. I love talking about YouTube, as as Dan will tell you here. But yeah, so him and I got talking, and one of the things that I see a lot with people is they say, they put all these barriers in front of themselves as far as their channel goes. They don't even get started before, I got to make sure this is right, and I got to make sure this is right, and does my voice sound bad? Can you listen to my video? Does it sound bad? And here's Daniel, he's just doing it, you know what I mean? And he'll tell you, like, I have a hard time saying these things, you know what I mean? But he doesn't let that stop him, and I'm like, I wish more people were like that, you know what I mean?
And that's hence the reason why I feel like I need to learn that myself, because of the fact that I do too much. I try to emphasize things being perfect. I try to make everything perfect in the video, and if it's not right, I just hit stop and re-record. And I think I just need to just do it.
Just do it, man.
I did that. I feel like I've done that with Alad's Online. If you watch my Alad's Online videos, you'll see that I actually continuously kept playing. I didn't care what I said or what I did. I didn't do any editing. If I made a mistake on something, I even said something that I found out later to not be true. But it didn't matter because I made up for it later. And so I feel like I'm really doing that with the Alad's Online. But any of my other videos, I never did that. I just kept doing it over and over again. You would never think that because it was like I just started. But no, I played. I don't know how many times I've erased a save file, just to do a video. I just gotta stop doing that.
I don't want any indication that I ever did that ever.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Terrible.
It's off into the ether forever.
I've done that a few
and then
times.
and then it's not
Also
fun
mine.
anymore. At that point, it's not fun anymore, and I don't want
Well,
that.
that- and
to be.
that's-
I do it for fun.
That's kind of
So-
what we're talking about, though, is, we're people, and Vortak, what this is like, is people are just doing this because it was fun at one point and it's not fun anymore. So it's about finding that balance. And Weem, I feel like you found a balance, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't do this if it's not fun. I mean, I'm in.
Right.
I don't need to have the channel. You know what I mean? To me, it's a creative outlet. I also like to write and draw. I used to make music. I just have to kind of be creating things and putting them out there. And that's why, I don't watch my videos. I record them. There's not a lot of editing other than transitions. I put them all together. So, I may cut some boring parts, but I don't really go beyond that. And, to me, I just like to create stuff. And so for me, if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. Like if I got to the point where it wasn't fun, I'm just going to stop doing it. So,
That's a good way to go about it.
That's what I did. That's basically what I did for a long time. I just stopped doing it because it wasn't fun anymore. But I want to do it. I want it to be fun. And so that's why I came back.
Well, I think the main message is that it can be fun.
Yeah.
And that's a fear that I've dealt with as much as anyone is, I want to gain a following and I want to be a success with something that I love. Is it still going to be fun at the end of all that, being successful? And the answer is yes. I feel like, I was a radio DJ in a small market, but, especially when I was let go, I got a lot of support, not a lot of love from listeners on my Facebook page and so on and so forth. And that just proves that it is possible. And I went to work every day not feeling like it was work.
Yeah.
You have stressful days. There's stress in any job. You feel you're stressed. I mean, there's good stress and there's bad stress. If it's stress over something that you love, then it's not bad stress. And my worst day in radio was my worst day. Was better than my worst day at. Excuse me. Let me start over. My. I'm very passionate, and I tend to stammer a little bit, but my worst day in radio was better than my best day at retail, is what I'm saying. So it's there is a balance there, is just what I'm trying to say. Is you go to work, and there's a way to go to work and still feel like you're having fun.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm sorry I got into my own head a little bit too much, but
Nah.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not super attached to stuff or anything.
Wait, let's stop. Let's do this all over. No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
It's time
Let's
to
start
just
the show
wipe
over
it.
again.
We gotta start the show
file.
over.
Yeah, with editing, we could edit out like the first 10 minutes and go back. I'll
You could
re-intro.
probably- Yeah, you, if you wanted to, you could edit out my stammering and not knowing what I'm
Nah,
talking.
we don't edit on this
Nah,
show.
I did one episode when it was like extremely screwed up, and I took the time to take all the ums and stuff out and cut down a little bit of like round logic stammering.
Heck, I must sound like a professional at that
I
point.
cut out like
took all of my ums.
a good bit of time. It wasn't like a lot off the time of total, but it was a good bit of stuff that I ended up cutting out. And I was like, oh, it sounds so good. But it took like 8 hours.
It takes a long time. That's the one problem.
It takes insane amount of time.
We record the
worth
show live at 10 p.m. Eastern time, and that's now the time zone I'm in. Before, it wasn't a big deal. It was 10 p.m. Eastern, but I was in the Mountain Time Zone. In I had 2 extra hours there, but now I've lost 2 hours. By the time we end the show, I'm already checked out. I edit what I can. If I see something go wrong during the show, like let's say I notice that Drew sneezes, I'm like, well, I can edit that out if I remember it. If not, people sneeze. But
Whatever.
I'll do little
People
things.
sneeze.
Yeah, I'll do little things like that. A lot of times, since we're using Skype, the audio gets really out of whack. So I'll like fix that little by little. But I can only do so much. I mean, but we want to get the show out by the morning. So
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
To do a full edit job like that consistently, we'd have to like change the live show to a different day.
yeah, we'd have to. Yeah, like 2 days earlier than when we're going to put it out. Then we have 2 days to edit it.
Yeah.
Right.
But
No, I feel bad because it's just you and me on my podcast, and I still take 2 days to edit it. So, what does that say about me? Lazy. That's what it says about me.
yeah, I'm really lazy with editing. I just got my new tug video out.
You can't
for the
just sit and
podcast.
do it all at once, though. You're just.
It's true.
No, it's.
Well, but
I
we only
can't.
have a
It's
half-hour show, though.
Too much.
We only have a half-hour show, but I have done that before, like we were talking about earlier, where I'll go and I'll edit out all the ums and all the pauses, and it takes too long. And I also sort of realized the lesson that I was talking about earlier was you've got to let yourself be human, and you've got to allow for awkward pauses as long as they're not too long.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
you've got
did.
to right.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I
Because
did.
like
Don't worry.
sometimes it's comedic, so it's like
'Cause
sometimes
yeah,
you need that
exactly.
pause there.
Well, Vortec does this thing where he's like, I think that this.
Yeah, you gotta leave
like-
that because that's him.
Looking at the waveforms, there are too many like peaks and
Well, I leave you so much room to edit out, so you can make me
That's
sound
true.
normal if you want.
no, and that's exactly what I've done.
But what is normal?
You're right.
That's funny.
I love you, Vortec. Thank you for being on a podcast with me. Drew and Dan digress. If you're curious,
Oh my God, this guy is the king of shameless plugs.
He is.
I
Look
wish
at
I
he
had
even held
something
up. He even
else
held
to
up his
plug
drink.
myself.
yeah. This isn't even a sponsorship. This is just what I happen to be enjoying.
We should just make a ticker bar that just like here's all the shameless plug bar, and it just like
Shameless
rolls
plug.
by for the whole hour.
We
All our shameless plugs.
we
We're
had
just
a
gonna-
joke in our podcast just from plugging ourselves. We would just always be like plug, plug, plug.
Yeah, you're just gonna start hearing a dinging every so often, and you're gonna be like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "I added a plug counter to the show."
Yeah. Do not mistake that ding for a $sign though, because
Yeah.
ka-ching is very, very different, and that's
Yeah.
not happening.
Well, Speaking of, Drew's trying to get me back on track. I see what you're doing.
Thank you.
Speaking of money and things like that, one of the issues, it's been around for like a long time, but it's kind of like resurfaced, at least from what I've seen on Twitter, are people are making games or making money playing games on YouTube. And they've always been able to do that with ad revenue and things like that. But now we're seeing a lot of game developers contacting these guys and saying, hey, we will pay you to please play our game. We know you're a busy person and you have like 10 million subscribers, but we want you to play our game. It's to them, it's like an honor, especially the smaller game developers. They're willing to pay extra money, even though the person's already going to get ad revenue. And this has brought to light some kind of shady practices, I guess, where there's contracts involved, and they're saying, well, you got to play our game, but you got to be nice. You can't say anything bad. And I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. Weem, you actually just made like a whole update video about this. You were talking about how people were asking you because this has come to light, and you've been getting bombarded with questions like that.
Yeah, I've been getting questions. I don't know about bombarded, but I have had all of a sudden. I've never been asked this stuff until the last month or so.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, but it is kind of out, all of a sudden in the last month. But it's tough for me to know. I was actually thinking about this today, and the tough thing for me is that because I talk to a lot of YouTubers and I share, a lot of advice and tips and stuff like that, a lot of them are, maybe following me on Twitter or things like that. So when somebody says, asks me, hey, do you make money on your channel? That could be another YouTuber kind of wondering, oh, do you have to get to this level to make money? Versus somebody who's saying, is he getting paid, and should I really not value his opinion then because he's getting paid? It's hard to know who's asking that question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did an update because it's been coming up. But there really isn't anything to say. Like I told people, I said, no one's coming to my channel, and saying, hey, let me pay you to play the game. And there's certainly people who look at my channel and say, oh, you've got a big channel and you must be making a lot of money, or they must have been. No, it's not that way at all. My channel is not a big channel. It may be relative to your channel if you're just starting out or something, but it really isn't that big. No one's approaching me about that stuff. The only money I'm making is from advertising. Developers do send me their games. I can ask for games and get those. That hasn't been an issue, but there's no expectation of a positive review. What I tell people is when I ask for a game, or if a developer sends me a game, I tell them, hey, here's my rules. I make sure I always throw it out. I say, number one, the game is only coming to my channel if number one, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and two, if I don't run into a lot of problems, because my channel is more about me having kind of I'm sharing my positive experience. I'm not going to post me having problems or running into bugs, because to me that's not interesting. It's not fun. It can be frustrating to watch. So only if I'm having fun are you going to see it. So that's what I tell people. You want to give me your game, I need to try it out and see if I'm having a lot of fun with it. You know what I mean? That's kind of my requirement, and everybody has always been fine with that. And it's probably easier. I don't know. Sometimes I think, am I cheating? Because basically what I'm saying is, if your game is really terrible or there's a lot of bugs, it's not going to show up on my channel. So to some degree, it's like, am I cheating because I'm saying I'm not going to say anything bad about your game? I don't know, but I feel like I'm just not. That's not my channel. I'm not a review channel. I'm not trying to tell people to buy games. I just tell you whether I'm having fun with it or not. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's fair, because you're not reviewing the games, but you're also not putting yourself in a position where you need to. You're going to play a game, and halfway through, you find this giant bug, and you realize this game isn't anywhere near being done, and now you're frustrated. You don't even put yourself in that position. You're just like, I'm only going to play things I want to play. And that way, even if people do silently label you as a reviewer, you always, you are being honest. You're always honest.
Yeah, and I've told people, I was like, it's kind of, you could look at it when you know that I'm only playing it on the channel if I'm having a lot of fun and it doesn't have, any major problems. One way to look at that is that I'm recommending it, right? What kind of games do you recommend? Well, the ones you're having a lot of fun with that don't have a lot of problems. So you could say, well, pretty much any game you play in your channel, what you're saying is you're technically kind of recommending it. But, I get a ton of questions about, is it worth it? Should I spend the money? And I always dodge that one. Essentially, I tell people my disposable income is different than yours. I could tell you I love it and you could hate it, so I'm not really I can't answer that question, you know what I mean? But what I can tell you is that I'm having fun with it, and you take from that what you will. You know, that's all I could say.
Yeah.
One
that's
YouTuber
a
that
great-
comes to mind. Oh,
Go ahead.
one YouTuber that comes to mind is Total Biscuit. Now he's not afraid to say something bad about a game, but he does game reviews. So
Well, he's one of the ones that gets paid sometimes to.
and they've actually, you know, one developer actually flagged his channel or flagged that video that he did of their game, trying to flag it, saying that he didn't ask our permission to do this.
Yeah.
And you know, there was a big old fiasco about that. And you want to check that out? Just go to it. It was about a year ago, I think. But he does bad reviews and good reviews, and he doesn't care. He's not gonna, if he doesn't like a game, he's gonna share it with you. He's gonna tell you that he doesn't like it. You know? But it's funny because he was one of the ones that said that Minecraft was crap. So I don't know how much you want to take his advice, but at the same time, you know, I mean, he's not afraid to speak his mind, so he's not letting developers pay him to say good things about their game. So
yeah, and when you get to where he's at, even being negative about a game can be okay, you know. And Vortac will having played Epic Inventor and done his series, you know, a while back. You know, we developed a game, and we were actually talking to John, Total Biscuit's PR guy, about, you know, hey, is he interested in playing our game and checking it out? And there was a lot of back and forth, and what I had heard from the PR guy, I never talked to TB myself, but his PR guy said, you know, he's willing to play the game if you can play multiplayer with him. And I said, well, the multiplayer is like broken. It does not work. But what I'm getting at is we were very excited for him to play the game, even though at the time I was like, he is going to shred this game. You know what I mean? It's like our very first game. It's got problems. We're enjoying it, and a lot of people currently are enjoying it, but he's going to tear it a new one. You know what I mean? But I was like, I don't really care. Like, it's totally fine with me. You know what I mean? I don't really care what he says. So he's in that kind of position where developers can say, I don't care what he says. If it's on his channel, it's going to do way better than it would have. You know what I mean? So it's totally fine. And it's interesting because, you know, the whole developer paying YouTubers, you know, that was something that entered my mind back then as well. I actually was wondering, like, I wonder if these guys would take, like, could I pay somebody to play? And not for a positive review, because I don't need that. You know what I mean? I did not need that for the game at all. But I was like, you know, oh, it'd be so great if they would play this game. I wonder if there's a price, you know, if there's some kind of amount that you can say, here's some money, play it, say what you want, you know. No holds barred, you know. But now that I've got my channel going in, and it's been a couple years now since those times, I can kind of see that there's really no way around it. If you pay somebody to play the game and they give a positive review, their review is always going to be called into question, like, no matter what. It doesn't matter if I say, no, I told them he could say anything he wanted. You know what I mean? It's not going to matter that I said that. People go, yeah, but he made money off of it, and he only gave it a positive review, so they're going to question it. So, you know, with this experience now, I can look at that and say, well, it's just not a good idea. It's never really going to work out that well, I don't think, for the most part.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wonder if some of these feelings are left over from, like, the era of when we only had magazines for reviews. And a lot of them were paid reviews, paid positive reviews, too.
Yeah.
Thanks, journalists. Thanks, traditional media.
I mean, it's not just, like, gaming magazines, though. It's a lot of journalism lacks a lot of integrity and can be bought or schmoozed into favorable articles.
What if a developer just gives the game to you to put on your YouTube channel? As a YouTuber, are you going to feel obligated to do a good review because they gave you the game for free? See,
I feel that way sometimes, but I took a middle of the road stance in mine. I do what I call quick look videos, and I take 2 to 5 minutes to show you the game. I express that I'm excited about the game, and I usually am. I won't, like Weem, I'm not going to play the game if I don't like it, but I don't give that disclaimer either. I just kind of go into it. And if you're looking at it and you're like, well, I don't think that, you know, what's he see in this game? I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say anything too good or too bad about it. Maybe sometimes I've even pointed out little problems here and there. Oh, currently they're experiencing this issue, but they're beta, they're working on it, whatever. I take a very middle of the road because I don't want to be, you know, I don't want the developer to be like, I wish I didn't send that guy my game because he was a dick. You know?
Don't want to be that guy. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, and I think that's why I kind of made my rule the way it is because I'm not a reviewer, so I'm just going to play it on the channel as long as I'm having a good time. Because I actually, being on the development side, would have a hard time, I think, being super negative about a game that was given to me if what I did was reviews. I would actually feel bad about that. So that's just one of the things I've decided. Well, I can't review games because I just can't do that. So that's why my rule is a little different, where it's it's gonna be on the channel if I have a good time. I think it'll fit with the channel, and it's got no major problems. Then yeah, I could bring that. Otherwise, it's just not going to show up. I think it works well for the developer, and I know it works well for me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No problem. So, I mean, I don't know. I just got what confused me about the whole Shadows of Mordor game fiasco was that the person in particular, we'll link this guy in the show notes. He made some good points. He talked about the game. He's someone who gets paid to review games sometimes. He was pretty defensive about the whole thing, but what I liked what he said about the game. They didn't need to ask us to do this for a positive review. They could have just given us the game to play, but instead they wanted us to sign a thing that said you have to say nice things about it. And what sucks is that the game is really good, and now they're getting all this bad press, and they didn't need to get it. They could have just gone about it and been normal, and I would have said nice things about the game anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because that previous Lord of the Rings based games have not had good reviews, and so they're sort of afraid of the stigma?
That was interesting because in the contract it actually says you are not to mention Lord of the Rings or any of the Hobbit movies or anything. You can't refer to those at all. That was it's in the video he mentioned in the contract. You can't say anything about that.
Yeah, good or bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay. So obviously they want it to succeed on its own merit.
Yeah, I think.
But how
I think
far
part
is
of that
too
too,
far?
Yeah, I think I actually thought about that because I remember when I read about that, and I was like, why wouldn't you do that? Lord of the Rings is so well known. So my guess, because I didn't really read beyond those rules, was that because it's supposed to be. I think if you connect it to Lord of the Rings, there's a lot of assumptions, about what the game should be, and then the game may not match it. It's like, well, this guy, it doesn't really fit with what we're used to with the Fellowship and all that stuff. He's an individual. It's kind of a very different thing, and so I have a feeling that's what they were going for, was to kind of stand it out, because like I said, if you connect them, then all of a sudden the game may not match the way you would expect it to with the other Lord of the Rings stuff, and that could be a negative thing for you. You're like, it's not really the same. That was kind of my guess when I saw that. Not that it was, I think, necessarily a good idea, but I thought maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, is there a reason to be that careful, though, to have people sign such a legally binding contract when you could just say, we'd prefer it if you didn't mention Lord of the Rings? We're trying to kind of drive it away from that.
That's the thing, though. I hate to keep going back to older media, but, you can always sort of tell how good a movie is going to be based on when they release it to the press. If they release advanced copies to the press, they're really confident that it's going to be a good movie. They're confident in the product they've created. But when they don't, and they wait for it to come out, and, because they don't want reviews to come out before the movie comes out, because if they're negative reviews, then no one's going to see the movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so were they just a little too hesitant about how good it is? Because it did get good reviews, and I've watched Let's Plays and I've watched streams of it, and it looks awesome. I mean, I want to get it. If I could afford it, I would. So what were they so afraid of? Were they just trying to cover their bases, or what? That's the question.
It just depends on maybe their contract was a little more intense than other ones, and people weren't used to seeing that, and they just kind of freaked out a bit. I mean, I didn't read the contract. How do I know?
Right. Maybe just when it comes to heavily licensed material, you can never be too careful.
Yeah.
So.
But, I mean, on the topic of just getting paid to play games that developers send you in general, I mean, would any of you guys view that as unethical? That's what I've seen in a lot of comments. You're a sellout. Meh. Because I personally don't see that as unethical.
Isn't being a sellout kind of the goal of being, a paid to do whatever it is you're doing?
Yeah, if you want to make a career doing something, you do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
If you want to remain credible, you need to be fair and impartial. So as long as there's nothing in the contract saying you must give this a positive review and you must, portray this in a positive light, then getting paid to play it and review it, no, because all they're doing is hedging their bets. That it's like I was kind of saying earlier, that if they're confident enough that it's a good game, then they'll have no problem paying people to review it. Because it's a good game.
Journalists get paid, to make, reviews of things and stuff.
Well, there's a difference between getting your salary and then getting an extra, tip because you're doing it about this specific thing.
Right, just because you're a staff writer.
Oh, you're talking about from the actual developer. I thought you were talking about like ad revenue and stuff like that.
Well, ad revenue,
No.
Ad revenue, people seem to have finally lightened up on. I used to see the same kind of comments about people who got ad revenue. You're just doing this for the money. And, it's like, well, I like doing this and you like watching it, so what's the problem? And I think, what Weem said earlier puts it the best. It's, you want to play something that you're going to be honest about. So even if you do take money for it and you're like, well, no, I told him I could say whatever, he could say whatever he wanted, and he said positive things. Yeah, like no matter what, people are always going to have that, assumption.
Yeah.
It just sucks. I mean, I'm someone who would love to make videos online and makes money. I don't know a lot of people who wouldn't want a job like that. And it just kind of watching what all these other guys who actually made it are going through. What point are you like, oh, never mind, I'm gonna go work at McDonald's again?
I don't know.
Why would you do that? I feel like dealing with that
Sparkles.
would be less stress.
He's got
would be less stress.
Tons of subscribers. He's probably doing quite well. Captain Sparkles, I'm talking about. So, I don't know. In that sense, yeah, it would be kind of like interesting. But what we're doing, what any of us are doing, I mean, even including Weem, it's not enough to replace your job. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah. It's a goal.
I mean, anything that I haven't made anything I haven't made anything really, but anything that I would make, I would use to buy new games. That's just what I would do. It's not my, so I don't know. And then I'd review those games.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that. Actually, like Twitch streamers will put up a donation box, and it just says right there, like, this helps support the stream, meaning I can get more games, I can update my equipment, you guys get a better stream, I get to keep doing what I do,
I have one of those. Haven't seen many results, though.
Yeah.
I'd love to get a new computer so I can actually run OBS and Minecraft at the same time.
It kind of rounds it out for me, though, because a lot of what I see with people getting into YouTube is the whole, like, oh, I want to go into it and I want to make money. And they go into it solely for that reason. And
No,
like,
can't do that.
You have to do it because you like to
then.
do it. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually think that's kind of tough because, one of the things that I've told people too is that I actually think it's perfectly fine to say, you know what, I'm going into YouTube because I want to make money. I actually have no issue with that. The only thing I would say is that's fine as long as you temper your expectations. That it's really all about expectations, because if somebody said, I want to be a doctor because they make so much money, that might not be the best reason, but nobody's saying, don't be a doctor. Don't even try. You know what I mean? They're saying, okay, you want to be a doctor, that's cool. But, when it comes to YouTube, I just think that's fine as long as you understand that the odds of it happening are very small. You're going to have to put in so much work and it still may not work out for you. But I think if people understand that, then go for it. Give it a whirl,
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just the label those people get, because a lot of them, like, they don't have fun doing it. They just grind it out, and you can tell they're not having fun. And then they're like, why am I not making money? And it's like, you can't just do a video. It has to be fun and interesting for you, so it's fun and interesting for your viewers.
Yeah, and that's where the expectations come in. When you see people kind of grinding it out and they're not having fun and they're like, why am I not big? Like, I'm not making money. That's because they had the wrong expectations. Had they known up front, I'd love to make money at this, but it's going to be extremely hard and maybe take years and years and may not happen, then they're not typically going to be the people that are saying, why isn't this happening for me? You know what I mean? Like, I actually, some people say, what's the, what advice would you give me, starting a YouTube channel? I say temper your expectations and make
Right.
videos. That's it. Just understand that you probably won't be huge and focus on playing games and sharing that with people. And if you're having a fun time and really enjoying it, that's what other people want to see. The rest is going to come naturally or it won't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's great
Yeah.
advice too, because it's kind of what the people need to hear. A lot of people don't like that advice, but the more
really
people
is.
to tell them.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
like a quick solution. The fastest way to get rich, the fastest way to make money, and that's not the motivation that you should have. So yeah, that's great.
I mean, people that do make money, it's reflected on their videos because you could see better editing, better whatever, better equipment's being used. In a way, it's earned. You know what I mean? In other words, they're not just throwing up a video and then, okay, give me the money. No, they're putting work into that video. Not only them doing the video, but also in editing and I mean, I know for me when I render a video, it takes a couple hours. And my computer is completely useless for 2 hours. I can't do nothing with it while it's
Right.
rendering. So I mean, so I mean, there's a lot of work put into making a video. It's not just throwing something up there, and so any money that is made is earned. It's not something that people take pride in what they do, and they put something out there and express themselves and entertain people. It's earned.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Jay in chat said something kind of interesting. He says, I'm a community manager for a couple games. I can give you a look at the other side of the table. It has almost become a need for game makers to pay reviewers just to get them to put the game at the top of their list. And
Man.
that just goes to show there's a lot of games right now, especially with indie games booming the way they are. There's a lot of games. I used to make fun of Steam Greenlight. I thought it was stupid. And the more I see, the more games I see emerging because of Greenlight, the more I think maybe this system's good, because at least
I thought
they get some press in the process.
I thought they got rid of it, and then I realized that
I thought
it's still
so
there.
too. Yeah, it's still there.
They were gonna phase it out. They
Yeah.
were. They had like a scheduled time where it's gonna be gone.
Oh.
But weren't really good games like FTL and a lot of things started on Greenlight?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when I started giving it a little more respect, because it gave those people some extra press. Vote us up on Greenlight, and it rallies people around it. Like, well, I'm going to vote them up, and then you're waiting for it. You're waiting to see if they do in fact make it onto Steam.
So are they
It doesn't
replacing
cost
it?
anything to vote,
Right. So are they replacing it with just the early access model where, there's this game and if you want to play it, just pay some extra money? Or I just don't understand why they would give that up. Why would they give up that model?
I don't
Green light.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
I was surprised to see them phase it out. I just thought if you're going to run a game store and you want people to put stuff in it, just have them come in. Just run your own little checklist. Like, okay, is the game stable? Was it thrown together overnight, or is it an actual game? Meaning, like, is someone just trying to troll it and add all the? It's not. Don't leave it open ended. Is all I'm trying to say. Let there be a process to make sure that there's actually games going up, and then put them on the store. But then you just have this giant list of games hidden in Steam that no one's ever heard of. At least with Greenlight, people are starting to check it. Steam's a giant community, and people check that stuff out. Which is what Weem has taught me. Steam is a lot more than just a game library, and that's how I always used it up until recently. And I'm surprised at how many people actually go in and look at that stuff. And it gives the games an extra layer of press. What's that?
Yeah.
Off topic, sort of. And we're talking about Steam being more than just a game library. Have you tried out their new beta? It may not be beta. They rolled out the music player.
I have not.
Oh my god.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
It was because you can buy soundtracks through Steam, and they're like, okay, let's make a convenient way for you to play all those soundtracks so that you have the list, and it looks just like your games list, where you can play your stuff. Well, the problem is one of the problems I have is I would like them to where I can right click and go straight to the album files. I still have to dig through the system files to get there. There is no shortcut to the album.
What's the
because they
point?
bury it in the installation file.
You can do that in iTunes or whatever media player you already use.
Well,
it's
I
beta.
think they're just giving people more options.
Yeah.
And then, this is most more specifically just for their soundtracks that you buy through Steam. I think they're really going to make a push for adding those as well.
Do they have to put
games.
this feature on the green light first and have people vote on it?
No. It's not an indie project, and it's Valve, so like they can just greenlight their own stuff. It's their
true.
product.
That's kind of strange to me. Some of the changes they made, I'm still like a little bit.
It's not a really good music player either, because it's essentially a music player that is the chat box that you would if you were messaging somebody through Steam.
Well, you know when they
Wow.
came out with
Yeah.
Big Picture, it wasn't really that good when it first came out. It was really laggy, and it just didn't work right. Now, after beta, they got it all, perfect. It works great. It's like it reminds me of XBMC or like a Windows Media Center, where you got all your games there and everything. And so I don't know. I mean, maybe this music thing will get better in time. We'll have to see, I guess.
Maybe. If
Yeah,
they-
I haven't tried it.
I have
I
a
just-
couple of soundtracks, and I never took the time to even access them. So if they were already there for me, I'd use it. But
I just don't see Steam as a music powerhouse provider.
Amazon's trying to do that now. They're trying to make their own version of Pandora.
I saw that.
Are they
but
really?
Yep.
Am I going to have to pay for it, though?
Here's the thing, though. No, it's included in Amazon Prime, so
Yeah.
that's
I have
that's
to pay
the
for
thing.
Prime. I can't just get it.
you have to pay for Prime. But here's the thing: I can't get music on Netflix, so that's almost a tipping point for some people. Like some people might think Netflix is great, but I just wish I had music. Netflix, and on Amazon Prime you can get video, you can get music, and you get that free 2-day shipping that we've always offered. So
And free books.
and free audiobook or free ebooks. So
Well, they have audiobooks too now. 'cause
Right,
They
yeah,
own
exactly.
Audible.
right, yeah, exactly. No, trust me, I know that they own Audible. I've had my own.
Oh, please don't
headaches
do
about
that.
Do you have a horror story with that?
Yes,
Hey.
I do.
Jay says something here that I think this is the reason for the Music Center in Steam. He says you can import any of your own music on your PC to play on it. Also, you can change songs and the like via the overlay while playing the game. So if that's the case, you can put a whole library of music of your own in there and play this while you're playing a game. I don't
Yeah.
know how many times that you'd have to open up a separate file or a separate program to play your game, your music while you're playing a game. Or even better than that, what about when you're streaming?
See,
now
that's
you
what I
can
was just
stream.
gonna say. If you want a quick win, what you'll do is allow people in the stream while playing the game to see what's playing, because a lot of people have to use a third-party program in their live stream to show the artists and the song.
Yeah.
And
I've
if you
noticed that.
If you put that in there, then those streamers are going to use that rather than the third-party program.
I've been meaning to ask you how that's done because I'm such a noob.
I'll show you. It's,
Oh,
I was like,
Are you
I need the
listening?
ticker. I need the ticker on the top of the screen that shows what the music is playing and how to play the music. See, I don't know anything. I'm so.
no, I checked it out the
with this
day
stuff.
that it came out, and Excel said now there is a show in system on the music player. So that feature was not there because I searched high and low for it because I was like, why can't I just go to the files?
They're working on. I'm sure they're working on it. I bet you it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be something awesome when it's done.
thanks
But-
for the tech support, chat.
I know.
Thank you,
So
chat.
great.
We appreciate it. We appreciate your input. Until
well-
you sign the deal.
It's about time we start wrapping up here, though. But I want to say a big thank you to our special guest, Weem,
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
thanks.
Well,
for lending us your YouTube insights.
oh yeah, thanks for having me. I'm just happy to hang out.
I know. I'll tell you this much. I make my thumbnails like Weem suggests. So, I take
yeah.
that from you. So definitely.
Nice.
I'm new to Weem as well, but I went onto your channel, Weem, and I looked at your thumbnails and watched some of your videos, and yeah, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Oh well, I appreciate that. I tell people that anyone can do what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything special at all. So
That
I
is
definitely
true.
appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, the resources are at our disposal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But,
So,
yeah.
you'd actually developed like a group of worshipers in our chat too.
No, they put you on a high pedestal.
The
tonight.
Weem bow to the. No, I was kidding.
Oh, they're just having fun with
You're
me.
the next Helix
Yeah.
fossil, my friend.
Yeah.
Here comes the fan art.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Should I be
Alright.
backing out slowly?
Well, thank you everybody for checking out this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. We will see you next week. Be sure to check out everythingnoob.com for blogs and show notes and all those things. Follow us on Twitter at everythingnoob. Check out the podcast on YouTube and Twitch. Every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time is when we go live. And again, big thanks to Weem and everyone else, and we'll see you next time.
Here comes my voice.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. Hit up everythingnoob.com for our show notes, blogs, YouTube and Twitch channels, previous episodes, and even a t-shirt store. Please game responsibly, and we'll see you next week.